Midtown Manhattan is not the only place with wonderful Christmas decorations in New York City. The same goes for downtown in Wall Street area. Today we're going to explore what type of Christmas and holiday decorations we can see here in Lower Manhattan. You're watching Urbanist. My name is Ariel, and let's go for a wandering. Starting here at Broad Street, at the intersection of Broad and Wall. We're seeing Wall just a little bit ahead after the tree. And here we're seeing the huge Christmas tree of the New York Stock Exchange. It's quite a tradition to have a gigantic tree for the New York Stock Exchange. And here we see Broad Street, which was always a really cool street because it's slightly crooked. So you have this beautiful layering of different buildings that cropped up first 30 years of the 1900s. Welcome everyone, welcome Sarah, welcome Youssef, welcome. Nice to see everyone here. Welcome to Yosio, welcome Irene. Hello Luciano, hello Giovi. So here is the tree in front of the New York Stock Exchange. Of course, many people already know what the stock exchange does. They trade more than $30 trillion worth of wealth, of investment into companies, mostly from the United States of America, and a few companies also are included from other parts of the world. As many of you already know, this is a wandering, so there's no particular direction or agenda for this broadcast. So we're just wandering around downtown Manhattan and see if we can find some cool Christmas decorations. This is our first one. And right below, might be a little bit easy to miss, there's a Kwanzaa decoration. Merry Christmas, Helen. Merry Christmas, Christine. So here's a Kwanzaa decoration. If anyone knows what is the history of Kwanzaa, let us know in the comments. I haven't looked too into Kwanzaa. And here's the tree. I like. Donald says, I like that they have Kwanzaa candles. Yeah, me too. It's nice. It's nice they included. So here's the entrance of the New York Stock Exchange, the security check. And right over here we have the buttonwood tree. The buttonwood tree is in honor, it's a sycamore tree. The nickname is also a buttonwood. It's in honor of the Buttonwood Agreement, where 24 brokers in the late 1700s decided to form a stock exchange, to no longer just meet in random coffee shops scattered throughout this area of New York, but instead to have one centralized place where they can do all their exchanges. Thus the birth of the NYSE as we know it today. Hey, 4K. Hello, Steve. Hello, Jessica. Nubu. Welcome. Oh. Hello, Eder. Nice to see you here. Hello, Adri, Donald. Welcome. Jose has the history of Kwanzaa. So here we have a few people fixing things. Bodhi, thank you so much for the 10-pound super chat. You say, hey, Ariel, happy Christmas, be safe. Thank you so much, Bodhi. The same goes for you. I really appreciate the super chat. So today it seems like they're introducing maybe a new company to the stock exchange, XL Fleet. Don't know too much about them. 100% sure if it's an introduction to the stock market. Usually it is the case whenever they have a sign of a company. For example, when Facebook went public, going public means that they are officially trading stocks to the public, so anyone can become an investor in the company. they put a huge sign up. So I think XL Fleet is joining the stock exchange. Bernadette, nice to see you here. Here we have a few XL Fleet trucks. Ooh, this might be a vehicle company. Looks quite downtown, yeah. All my information about all the technology I use is in the description below on the YouTube description. So here on the other side we have Hanukkah, actually. Look at this. Luciano, a lot of money in this place. Yes, over $30 trillion are traded in the stock exchange. Is it freezing or not? No, it's pretty good weather. It's about like 45 degrees, 44 degrees Fahrenheit. And here we have our good old friend, the fearless girl. She's wearing a mask. Maria says I'm a walking library. Yeah, I'm glad you think so. So right up there, we have these series of statues. Notice anything strange about them? I've told this story a few times. New York City has warnings of 16-mile-per-hour winds on Christmas Day. Oh, that means it's a good day to stay cozied up inside and not, stay cozy up inside with a hot chocolate or a spiked cider. There's something weird about this statue up there. So this building, the New York Stock Exchange, the stock exchange actually started in a coffee shop, Tontine Coffee House, and a few other coffee shops around the city. So think about this. Our nation's wealth and the wealth of many other stock exchanges around the world, including, say, Shanghai and also London, were based in coffee shops. So it's like today, if stockbrokers, instead of hanging out here, they would be hanging out at Starbucks or a Blue Bottle. That's the equivalent. Anyways, in 1903, they ended up building a huge building, new building for this, by George B. Post, the architect. George B. Post is famous also for City College. He made it look like Hogwarts. And on the very top, he noticed that there was something wrong with all these stones. The stones had serious defects. He didn't know until after the building was completed. 1904, the marble statues were installed, but he was already nervous what could happen. So he already petitioned the city to start doing repairs, but the city refused. And the city grew and grew and grew in the 1910s, the 1920s, and the 1930s. But as the city grew, becoming a manufacturing powerhouse that ended up feeding the entire United States economy in many respects, and also producing megatons of coal. The problem with coal is that it turns into soot, sticks to everything that comes across it. So the city was covered in the black fog. This ended up becoming a very serious problem, all the way until the 1960s, where there was black fogs that would cover the city. So, black fog covering parts of the city, soot sticking onto buildings. The problem with the soot is that it would degrade stone. So the soot started sticking to the statues and to this building and started crumbling down. And they were afraid that this statue might crumble right on top of a pedestrian passing by, or maybe a stockbroker, or God forbid, a shareholder. And they had to do something quick. So they decided to cover the entire stock exchange in tarp and then put up a very secret operation, no one knew about it, to replace all these statues. Not with other stone, not repairing the marble, but complete reproductions made out of a hollow metal. I think it's copper or it's bronze, a hollow metal. And they actually painted it meticulously to look like marble, but not look like marble in its pristine form, which is nice and pristinely white, but make it look like marble as if it were covered in soot. So they not only painted it marble color, but they added tiny little details of soot to make it look like, oh, it's the normal marble that you see in the 1930s. So these statues are not authentic, they are clones. And they're not marble, they are hollow pieces of metal. Mandy, in all good time, you will see Federal Hall. Bronze, yeah, bronze. Thank you so much, Lisa. Bronze castings. Thank you. What did they do with the real marble statues? You know, I'm not entirely sure. I think they were hidden in storage. Here's the stock ticker right in front. Here we have Federal Hall. Hey, Ming and Wallace, thank you so much for tuning in. Welcome, Wallace, to New York City. So here we have Federal Hall, and this is where in 1789, George Washington, who was the general who got us through the American Revolution, managed to gain independence for the 13 colonies. He was inaugurated as the first president of the United States of America. However, on that inauguration day, there was a huge crowd of people all gathered outside. It was so packed that one of the newspapers interviewed a woman asking about the scene, and she said that when she looked out her window, she peeked out and it felt like she can walk on top of the heads of the people. So George Washington is being inaugurated, and as this massive crowd of people packed to the brim gather around to see our first U.S. president, they can't hear anything. His hand is on the Bible, his lips are moving, and people are scurrying further and further front, trying to get some type of glimpse of what he's saying. So as people were getting closer and closer, we're trying to hear. And the reason that we're trying to hear was because George Washington was notoriously a soft-spoken man. Many of our famous U.S. presidents, the more popular ones, have always been pretty soft-spoken, like Abraham Lincoln as well. So George Washington was soft-spoken. People were trying to hear. And then John Adams had to take the oath for vice presidency. And he was not so soft-spoken in general, but he was so nervous, completely brimming with sweat, according to a few accounts, that he just uttered a quick few lines and that's it, scurried away. So that was our first inauguration. Not some pompous affair filled with tanks and huge bands, marching bands. But no, just two guys who were a little bit too shy. Don't forget to show George placing the star in front of the Christmas tree. Ooh. Ah, Dutch. Have you unlocked a photo secret? All right, I'll check it out. Let's see it. Dutch has come to the rescue with a interesting photo secret. Compared to Nixon behind closed doors, they're all soft-spoken. Not every president is soft-spoken. No, not every president. All right, let's see. Okay. All right. This is a good photo opportunity. George Washington placing the star on the tree. Thank you, Dutch Moz, for the photo tip, everyone. Steve says you're like a walking Google, only easier on the eyes. I'm glad. This is George Washington, first U.S. President of the United States of America. And this is a better vantage point of the tree. Right here. Ashley says, you can name one U.S. president who is not soft-spoken at all. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Everyone give Dutch a round of thanks for that photo tip. Are the markets open today? Yep, everything's open today, just like normal. Things start closing really on the 25th. Even 24th, everything tends to be open. It's on the 25th when, which is Christmas Day here in the U.S. Things tend to be closed. Here's two pigeons chilling. I call him George and I call him John. George and John, but not after the Beatles. After the U.S. presidents. Look up the Wall Street bombing. John, I don't have a phone with me, and I don't have any notes or notebook. I have a backpack. There's a few notes back there, but without any notes, without any phone, I'll tell you about the Wall Street bombing anyway. Let's go. So right over here, September 16th, 1920, a horse and carriage rode into Wall Street. It was a very busy work day. Suddenly, the horse and carriage rides in, lots of cargo in the back, rather suspicious, like this truck is doing right now at this very moment in time. Comes in, just imagine this truck is a horse and carriage, and stops right in front of Federal Hall. The man steps out of the vehicle, leaves the horse and carriage behind. Everyone doesn't really notice. People are going through their day because who cares? And then suddenly a huge explosion hits all around Wall Street, leaving a devastation all around. Shrapnel flying across the entire city. This is the result right here. The horse and carriage was filled with tons of dynamite. But who was responsible? Well, there's one indication of who might be the target. Was it Federal Hall? And no, I did not plan this. I just love storytelling on the go. This is kind of, I do jazz, but for storytelling. It's very improvisational. So who was responsible? Well, was it the Target Federal Hall? Maybe. Target might have been this building over here. This building is the J.P. Morgan building. J.P. Morgan's son was running it. And the Morgan family was known for being rather ruthless in the business world. I mean, they're known for basically destroying Nikola Tesla's career because it quite didn't fit their financial goals. Or maybe would have destroyed their financial stronghold. So Morgan had quite a bit of controversy. Tesla was just one of them. And despite all the controversy, the shrapnel hit this building all around. And J.P. Morgan's son refused to cover up the bomb markings. They are still here to this day. These are the bomb markings. All these pock marks, not deterioration of the building. They are the marks of the bomb. Terrible, terrible thing. JP Morgan's son said, somewhere along the lines, I'm paraphrasing, that he will not repair the building because he wants to show the world that no one can mess with the Morgan Company. Didn't do too much damage. Ooh, well, that's the only damage left. Other things were repaired, but windows in these buildings were entirely shattered. 38 people were killed. More than 400 were injured. It was a devastating terrorist attack, the largest terrorist attack on American soil until the bombing or the World Trade Center attacks. Let's just hope XL Fleet isn't planning anything. 1920. Dutch says they found one of the horseshoes in the East River. Whoa, Dutch, that's so cool. Okay, so Dutch says they even found one of the horseshoes in the East River. Uh-oh. This kind of looks like a heist movie for like Die Hard 3. Just all these vehicles from some random company I never heard of. Oh, look, the carriage is going away. All right, now it's a better photo opportunity. The XL Fleets are gone, and they actually took down the sign. So I think they're officially public already. They're already being traded on the stock market. And now we see the building in its full glory. That was worth it. All right, let's check out the other. So a lot of people always wonder, where does Wall Street get its name? This is called Wall Street. This is called Broad Street. Well, broad because it's rather broad. But wall? Is it some type of, was there some type of Lord Wall of Amsterdam? No, there was no Lord Wall of Amsterdam. It's called Wall Street because there used to be a wall here. Literally. It's a wooden wall built by the Director General, Peter Stuyvesant. And you can still see where the wall was placed. Right over here. This one's covered up in stone, but the ones further down, you'll still see the wood exposed. So a lot of history around here. A lot of history. I'm not sure what they're going to do with the JP Morgan building. Why was there a wall? In order to prevent Native Americans from attacking, and also the British. The Native Americans just walked around the wall because it didn't extend fully from east to west. And the British just used their navy. So the wall was useless. Just like most walls are in civilization. Just like certain walls are in certain areas in modern US. Walls never really do a thing. It's the moral of the story. Mark, am I forced to wear a mask in New York? Check your local regulations and look into it, but in New York City it's only mandated. There's no law penalty. You won't run into any issues law-wise if you're not wearing a mask outside. Businesses can kick you out if you're not wearing a mask. This is the fanciest tarp I've ever seen, and this tarp has been here for a while. I'm wondering when they will take it out. Here are the Art Deco doors. Maybe the wall was more symbolic. Yeah, I think for Peter Stuyvesant it was. I don't think it fully was supposed to be all practical. Babu says, I think it was settlers trying to delineate different areas of the settlement. No. I do know what you mean, and that is the case with some walls. But in this case, the purpose from Peter Stuyvesant himself was to prevent an attack. That was the purpose. It says 1 Wall Street here. What is the building with the Art Deco doors? I don't know, but there's a sign over here. Let's check it out. This is the site of the wall of New Amsterdam. Okay, this doesn't say what the building is. So here we have a plaque for the wall of Wall Street, but we don't have a plaque for the building. Maybe we'll see it from the other side. Yeah, I'll go the other side. Here is the Bank of New York building, built in 1930. So very Art Deco. Bank of New York, which John says is the Chase Bank. Yeah, I think you're right, John. Chase Bank. They all consolidated a long time ago. Is it Chase Bank? I don't think so. I think, if anyone can confirm what the Bank of New York is now. All right, I gotta adjust my mask. Here, we are at Wall Street and Broadway with Trinity Church. Look how beautiful Trinity Church is. Worth anywhere between $3 billion to $9 billion, this parish. Why? Because they own a bunch of these lands and lease it to a lot of these companies, including the World Trade Center area. So a church worth $9 billion, Episcopal. All right, so I gotta adjust my mask. Bear with me. And what kind of stone is it made from? Good question. I actually don't know for sure. Good question. It's a dark stone. Doesn't look like Manhattan schist. Manhattan schist would be a bit rougher. So if anyone knows what stone it is. Now, this version was built by Richard Upjohn, and this is the third version of the Trinity Church. Have you ever wandered across the cemetery? I have, many times. I've done many videos. You can search them on Facebook. But I will be posting a video of Trinity Church Cemetery tomorrow, 360 video. Stay tuned. Ariel, can we get closer to Trinity? Yes, we will. Just once I get this mask deal figured out. Okay, there we go. Is the cemetery open? I don't think so. We'll see. Kay says, I love your scarf. Thank you, Kay. Kay actually gifted me this scarf. I featured Kay in the short video at McSorley's Pub last year. We met up. She gifted me a lot of things, including Hamilton tickets. She was so nice to do so. And also the scarf. So thank you so much, Kay, for the scarf. It's a beautiful scarf. Hey, Sayan says, glad to connect again in your live stream. Time zone makes it difficult, but your live streams are very interactive, which makes it more fun. Oh, I'm so glad. So this is what Trinity Church looked like before. Lots of empty land. Oh, the bells are ringing. But why is it worth $9 billion, up to $9 billion? This is a bit excessive, don't you think? Well, Trinity Church was, by the royal family of England, they bestowed everything west of Trinity Church in this area of Old New York to the church. So they owned everything after this, and they owned a few things next to it as well. The thing is, this was mostly swamp water, and the water line was actually really close, so they barely owned anything. It was a really bad deal, to be honest. But that changed, especially by the 1900s, with the rapid development of New York. There was more and more need to build bigger and bigger skyscrapers, and they had the perfect land for it. These buildings right next to it, built in the early 1900s, and then in the 1970s, late 1960s, the land was leased to build World Trade Center to make landfill right behind it, and that ended up becoming a very big deal. All right, let's see. Can we go in? Maybe? Not sure. I think we can. Okay, we're going to the... Yes. Can I look at the cemetery? No? It's closed? Oh, okay. Sorry about that. I saw the door open.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have constructions.
When is it open again?
March 1st.
March 1st. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Happy holidays.
You too. Happy holidays. All right, so it is closed. The woman came up very, very angrily. But luckily, I have tall arms. So hello, Patri. Stone guy is watching me. That is Fulton. Okay, so I'll talk about who's buried here. Just gotta find a better position to stand. So this is John Watts, not Fulton. My mistake. Fulton is buried somewhere else. This is John Watts. Might sound familiar. So I think Is he related to the scientist? I'm not entirely sure. But this is John Watts. Fulton is buried in one of these burials. I think it's that one. Who was responsible for the first steam ferry. And then down there, you can see Hamilton for free. And no, I'm not talking about Disney Plus, which is technically not for free anyway. I'm talking about the graveyard of Hamilton. And it's covered in scaffolding right now. Hey, I definitely know that the electrical unit watts is named after a scientist, but is it the same as John Watts? Let me know. I actually never bothered looking into that. So if anyone can confirm if John Watts is indeed the scientist who innovated studies into electricity and had the unit of measurement named after him, watts. Steve says, I'm dying to go. Can people still buried here? No, I think it's out of capacity. Did he know John Volt? I think Volt is a different person. Yeah. Roma says, no, it's a different person. Elaine says, beautiful mass. Oh, thank you so much, Elaine. James Watt. Thank you. James Watt is the scientist. So different from John Watts, who I think is a statesman. Thank you. All right, let's see what other Christmas decorations we can find here. I think we're better off going towards Zuccotti Park. Thank you, Goblin. John Watts Jr. was an American lawyer and politician from New York City. Thank you. So I got kicked out of here, but lo and behold, this is usually open for the public, and you can walk around casually. The door was open, so I just walked in. They didn't have any sign that said it was closed. But it seems that by March 1st, you'll be able to walk in back to normal around again. What is the name of the church? Trinity Church. Trinity Church. All right, here we have the Nativity Scene. And there's a lot of people here. Look at that. No worries at all.
Hey, Monday. Yeah. Next week, man. All right, enjoy. Definitely you too.
When did they install this?
I'm not sure, but
Yes.
sometime in the beginning of this week.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome that they're doing it.
I'm not regularly here. I'm actually just covering.
Oh, all right, awesome.
Yeah, but I like it though. It's cool.
It's nice that they put it. I don't think they've done it in previous years.
You know why? Because the church isn't open.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
So they wanted to present something to the company.
They could use the front, yeah.
Definitely.
That's awesome.
Oh, is this Spirit live? Oh, okay.
I am on live, yeah, I have live video. I explore cities around the world.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You do?
And I
Can
show,
follow you?
yeah, you can.
Oh my God, I like that. I need inspiration.
Urbanist exploring cities.
I probably already follow you. Urbanist.
Exploring cities. How long you been working here?
I've been working
Yeah.
at Trinity, like the whole site.
Yeah.
For about a year now.
Oh, a year,
and some
wow,
change.
okay.
This is my first security job being in New York. I used to live in New Jersey, so it's like my whole life changed after that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
Oh.
so it's pretty cool, getting to know about
Yeah.
everything about the church and
It's beautiful doors as well.
yeah. I'm using they have an office building that they really erected last year.
Yeah. Is it
that's
open
really-
now?
The building, the Commons building,
Yeah.
it'll be open next year along with the church.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Happy holidays, sir.
Hey, that's awesome. Oh, and have you been inside? Is it nice?
Inside the church, yes. I worked inside here, last year before the pandemic.
Yeah.
I currently work in the office building behind it, but I'm usually watching other cameras, so I'm watching outside everything that goes around all the properties.
Right, right.
Yeah, so I'm usually that guy that's like, in the office and sitting down or whatever, but, sometimes I'll come over here and cover, over there and cover, and, I'm all over the place, so.
How about inside the office? Is it nice? Because I know it's new.
It's
Yeah.
amazing. They got a lot of double screens, they got standing desks, they got touch screens where it looks like a giant iPad on the wall. But
Oh,
like,
that's
when
so
you
cool.
touch the screen, it's amazing.
Oh,
How you
that's
doing,
awesome,
sir?
man.
When you're walking in the room,
Yeah.
the lights automatically turn on. They got a whole bunch of stuff. They got
wow.
showers on a certain floor with the Bourdain.
Wow, they've went all out.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like each floor is a different. It's like a different level to a new game.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's crazy.
Oh, that's so cool.
Everything's high tech and new. How you doing, sir?
Everything's high tech inside. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I got a question. Is this you?
Yeah, go for it.
Is it Eric J. Speakers or
No, that's not me.
Urbanist?
So Urbanist Live is the Instagram.
Oh, Urbanist Live.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
I'm trying to see, because you say you go around, so.
So I do it mostly on YouTube.
Oh, wait.
Search Urbanist Live. Just Urbanist Live.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Oh, right here. See, I see
Orange you right
Oh,
there.
that's you. Perfect.
Oh, thank you for the follow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm always welcome to check out everything. Like this, people, there's something that
Yeah.
people don't see.
Yeah, right.
That I want to go explore, and then you can take a picture like, this is, you want to visit here because you would like to learn this, or like it's amazing because the air is just so great. You never know, you might learn something new.
And there's something always new here in New York City.
Exactly.
I've
New York
already done
City.
like more than 1,000 videos, and I always explore something new here. Yeah,
Seriously?
in New York City alone. Yeah, yeah. I've gone like just done every corner.
Have you been to Jersey City?
Jersey, I actually did it for the first time this summer.
I'm from here.
Oh, you're from
Jersey
there.
City, like born and raised.
Any good tips about Jersey City?
Jersey City, any good tips? Okay, the downtown area grocery is probably the best you're gonna get in Jersey City.
Yeah.
So that's that's a good tip. And the waterfront's pretty good.
Oh, it's
They
gorgeous.
got events going on at
Yeah.
They got events going on at Liberty State Park. Stuff like that. Liberty State Park is across from here, but between Hoboken.
It's so hard to get to.
Yeah. Is you gotta take the path to Exchange Place.
Yeah.
And then you got to get out this train station, and then you gotta take the light rail to the park.
Right,
to Liberty
right.
State Park. And then you gotta go all the way down this little path, but you'll get where you need to go.
Actually, I was blown away by the food as well over there.
The food,
Yeah.
the food's amazing. But the pizza's always gonna be better here. But
What's a good place over there?
a good place? Okay.
Oh,
There has
bless
been
you.
a lot thank you so much. There's been a lot that changed, but actually, if you follow this lady, she does the same thing you do.
Okay, cool. I'm
You
curious.
don't have to follow. You can just check her out. Her name's Lynn Hazan on Instagram. You probably met her. Funny.
Lynn Hazard.
Anything about Jersey City or anywhere around the world and stuff, but she has a large following. She's a
Zoom in on that so people can see it. Lynn
Definitely.
Hazan. Oh,
yes,
cool.
Lynn Hazan. She's a culture, lifestyle, food writer.
Yeah.
She writes about everything, like mostly about our city, but she's been to like what do you call it, Bala or Bali?
Bali.
Bali.
Yeah.
There we go. Bali. She's been to all the Emirates. She's been to Dominican Republic, the Caribbean.
And she's
She-
mentioned food places in Jersey City?
Yes.
Oh, cool.
She actually writes articles, and she got lists all the way down the road.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you can hit her up and ask her a couple of questions and stuff like that, so you can let your people know, and then you can go try it for yourself.
Oh, yeah, definitely will.
Let me see.
Awesome. Thank you for the recommendation.
No problem. She
Yeah.
has a chickpea.com. This is her chickpeajc.com.
Chickpea. Okay.
Yeah. So
Awesome.
yeah. No, this is her older one. But yeah, she's just I guess you could say like she's a millennial that just goes around and does a lot of amazing stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many people nowadays doing it. Are you also wanting to do YouTube or Instagram?
I haven't reached that point in my life
Yeah.
yet.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I'm still recovering from a lot of bad decisions that I made from back then. Like as in like I wasted my time with just going from job to job. So
I feel you, yeah.
taking a step here has given me a lot of opportunity to meet people and a lot of opportunity to explore the city because I have an apartment in Harlem now.
Oh,
So I'm
cool.
probably all on my own. I'm out the army. You know what I'm saying? The army also gave me a
Yeah.
chance to travel, but
You got a pretty short commute as well.
yes,
Oh.
definitely.
Uh,
You call that short from Harlem?
What?
You call that short from Harlem?
Oh, in a way, you could take like the A train because
True.
I used to go to City College, and it was a short commute from here downtown Manhattan to City College because A train was like 30 minutes maximum.
Right.
Yeah, usually. Yeah.
Yeah, it's also 35 minutes maximum.
Yeah, until it's like very packed to the brim with people, then it might be a bit uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Do you have any recommendation for a good lunch place here for people
lunch
watching?
place here around this area.
Yeah. You're like, what do you recommend?
Okay, so what do I recommend?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Your personal favorite.
Personal favorite. I'd say my personal favorite would have to be. Okay, so I got a lot of places. My personal favorite would have to be the Subway. That's like literally right here around the corner.
Oh, cool.
But there's what do you call it? There's a good piece of place down here by the Charging Bull.
Oh, interesting. By the
Right.
Charging Bull, yeah.
Now there's a if you go down.
I've never tried that one.
If you
Interesting.
go down Fulton Street,
Yeah.
you make a right. There's a whole bunch of stores. Like it's a lot of restaurants in that area.
Right.
You know, and it's in the block next to it is a lot of like restaurants in that area too.
I like that area as well.
Yeah.
Joe's Pizza there is really
Joe's
good.
Pizza, right?
Yeah.
Another good pizza place.
Awesome, man.
Also, you got there's a 7-Eleven, there's a Dunkin' Donuts. Going down the block on Rector, there's a couple of good little tiny grocery stores on the side.
Yeah.
Georgie's. Now their milkshakes are amazing. They're expensive, like $9, $10 for the large, but it's amazing.
Georgie's. Oh, interesting. Never
Yes.
tried that. It's like a burger place
It's a
or like a bodega.
it's like a dining area. Like
Dining,
you
okay.
gotta see it for yourself. It's exotic.
Okay,
A lot
cool.
of exotic foods. You got yogurt. You got yogurt mixes. You got milkshakes. You got burgers. You got pancakes. In the morning, they cook for you. They cater to you. They serve to you. You can take it out to go.
Yeah.
You got a lot of things, man. Smoothies.
Oh, that's cool to know. Georgie's, awesome.
Yeah, so I'm just talking too much, so I need some water.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Yeah, so Georgie's is literally on Rector Street. You go all the way down on when you hit Greenwich,
Yeah.
which is where the corner store across the street on your right hand side should be that I told you about. It should be on your left hand side when you reach Greenwich, but don't cross the street.
Oh, cool.
So like literally, if you go down this block, make a right, and then basically cross the street, and then you go all the way back down
Yeah.
again. You don't cross the street, but it's like literally next to the construction, like that's happening down the block further on Rector.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
But you'll see it's like with a green and yellow sign.
Okay,
I
cool.
recommend that place actually.
Thank
for a
you
good
so
lunch.
much. What's your name?
My name's Marquise.
Marquise. Nice to
Yes.
meet you. Ariel.
Ariel?
Have a great day, man.
Perfect name. You too.
You too. All right, that was a really cool conversation. Marquise. Thank you, Marquise, for chatting with us. Marquise recommends Georgie's at Rector Street, right nearby. He says they have some great milkshakes. Really fun guy, really passionate local. He sounds like a classic New Yorker. Yeah, he's from Jersey City, basically close to New York City, and he's now in Harlem, which is so awesome. Yeah, that was such a cool conversation. Let me know if you enjoyed it. Charlene, awesome. Chic name, Marquise. Yeah, I mean there is quite a bit of New Yorkers named Marquise. Is this the church where they filmed National Treasure as Uptown? Ah, great question. I'm not entirely sure. It is definitely the church referenced in National Treasure, but did they film it on location? I don't know. If anyone can confirm, they might have filmed at St. Paul's, but I can't tell you for sure. It's definitely the one referenced in the film. So what is this weird little structure? It kind of looks like a church steeple on its own. It's rather random, isn't it? Nasimia, am I going to the Strand? No, I'm very far away from the Strand. That answers our New Yorker's polite question. Yeah, right. The guy feels lonely. No, I think, long hours standing there in the front. It's nice to talk to someone. I cut the conversation short because I have a feeling you could talk a lot more. Because it seemed like his supervisor, the woman who kicked me out of the graveyard, started standing right behind him. And I was like, oh no, I hope he doesn't get in trouble. So I had to cut the conversation short. Anyways, Marquise, thank you so much. So why is there a random church steeple here at Trinity Church? Well, right here, this street, there was a plan to extend this street. A lot of the local businesses wanted an easy pathway to go further into the new development on the other side of Trinity Church. However, it's highly illegal, at least here in New York City, due to a few laws, to exhume the dead for a commercial project. At least out of nowhere, at least without the, I think it's 2/3 of the church have to agree that they can move the dead to a different graveyard. 2/3 of the church staff. So the city can't claim eminent domain, a business can't, technically buy out the church. They can't do that either. So it's highly illegal to do so. But nonetheless, they persisted. And they tried to convince the church clergy to change their mind and give permission to extend the street. But the church clergy was like, say, no way. Then the city got involved and they were also wanting the church to relent and let them build the road. So the church decided a very ingenious idea. Okay, since everyone is giving us a tough time because, we don't want to move our dead in this historic graveyard, why not build a memorial? Memorial in honor of those who lost their lives in the prison ships during the American Revolution. I think in all other prisons. So this is in general, all the people who lost their lives in prisons and also being trapped in war. So they built this memorial. And the thing is, in the public eye, if you were a business owner or the city official saying, oh no, now let's destroy this memorial and move the dead, it would be bad press. It would be a bad look. So no one decided to pursue the extension of the street any longer. And that's why we have this random church steeple looking thing in the middle of the graveyard. Hey, Sophia! There's a Gregory's coffee nearby. Have one on me. Oh, thank you so much, Sophia. I appreciate it. I might take you up on that offer. Thank you. Try that Gregory's. Let's zoom in. So you could just imagine a street going down through here. And there's also a very interesting gravestone over here. I wish I could show it. That has very weird lettering on it. Church says checkmate. Indeed they did. Indeed they did. So there's a subway inside the subway. I know Action Kid loves mentioning this as well. There's a subway inside the subway entrance. A subway restaurant inside the subway entrance. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We have Inception. Hey, Edward says, hello again from the Netherlands. Can you show and tell us about the Equitable Building? Sure thing. Oh, I love this. Thank you for asking. So this is the Equitable Building. So this building pissed off a horde of New Yorkers. But why? Why did this building cause the ire of locals? Well, because it looks like this. A huge towering mass casting a shadow onto every street it comes across. The two side streets are constantly covered in shadows. So in the early 1900s, as you can tell from a lot of these buildings, there was a huge building boom. That was specifically the case in early 1900s, 1912, 1913. All these skyscrapers started being built, 1914, 1915, 1916. Equitable Building ended up going way higher than all these other buildings in a place where there was already a lot of high buildings. So the Equitable Building kept growing and growing and growing and growing, casting a huge shadow on the city. This worried New Yorkers because they thought that the city was going to be covered in shadows. That was going to be a massive canyon of darkness. Well, this inspired the city to try something new. To avoid these dark, cavernous areas of New York, they decided to put in new zoning laws. The zoning laws were to make a wedding cake style building with setbacks. So there's a certain amount of street. According to that width of the street, the building had to be set back after a certain amount of stories. And that's what we end up having, all these beautiful wedding cake style, or some people might call it ziggurat style buildings, setback style buildings that are all around New York, like the Empire State Building, like the Chrysler, and like many of the other famous buildings of New York. Unlike these buildings over here, covering the city in the shadow. So here we have a setback. This is a better example of a setback. And the setback basically allows a little bit more sun to come in. Thank you, Edouard, for the $5 super chat. €5, I mean. Let's see if we can spot any other setback buildings here. Here we have another one, right there, this one. Another setback building. How tall is the Equitable Building? I think it's like 22, 23 stories tall. Pretty tall. Pretty tall. They used to care about aesthetics more, says, great observation. Is the Eiffel Tower setback? No, that's in Paris, so I don't think Paris had different set of laws. But look at how gorgeous this building is. This is another one, not too much history with this one, but this is the US Realty building. Look how beautiful, ornate it is. Has great Christmas decorations during the daytime. During the nighttime. So Luciano, you thought that New Yorkers were rude and stressed. No, that is not really the case. That is the stereotype indeed. New Yorkers might be straightforward, a little bit more blunt. They might tell you more like it is, or exactly how they feel without kind of hiding it. But there is niceness. It is kind. And there's a warmness that you might not see in other, say, European cultures, where there might be a little bit more kind of seriousness. Hey, Alex says, good afternoon from Portugal. Very illuminating, educational, substantial content as always. Oh, so I'm so glad you're enjoying it. Ava says, I think it's just brutal honesty. Yes, New Yorkers have way more brutal honesty than other parts of the US. The stereotype, I think, of course, do your research, I think stems from people from the Midwest or Southern US or the West Coast coming to New York and being kind of having a culture shock within their own country. The thing is, the rest of the US was settled mostly by the British. Some parts, of course, by the French, but mostly by the British, and some parts also by the Spaniards in its early history. But the British culture really reigned, and the British culture is a lot more about niceties and a lot slower paced and right. Like, it's not so forthright as another culture that New York City was settled upon, which is the Dutch culture. And the Dutch, as many of you might already know, if you know people who are Dutch, Edward might be able to speak to this a little bit better. Of course, this is a stereotype, but the Dutch are also known to be very straightforward, very forthright, no holds barred in terms of how they speak their mind. And that's why New Yorkers have this stereotype attached to them. Germans as well. Yeah, Germans, and also German immigration also had a very big impact in New York and a few other major cities in the East Coast, like Philadelphia. That's why Philadelphia probably has also this similar type of stereotype to New York. So that might be a good perspective. The German might have a influence as well. So, hey, Edward actually speaks about it. He says, yes, the Dutch are known for being very honest, brutally honest. Yeah. I know Dutch people myself, and sometimes when I talk to the Dutch, I was like, oh, you don't need to say it that strongly. And Edward says, the Dutch are also cheapskates. Uh-oh. That comes from a Dutchman, not myself. Edward, the fellow Dutchman, says the Dutch are cheapskates. So here we have the decorations of Zuccotti Park. So Elisa asks, what is this sculpture? I don't know for 100% for sure, but I will make an educated guess. And I think this is a sculpture made by Marc de Suervo, who is a sculptor based in the story of Queens. He's still alive. He's still in his very late 80s, still making work. And he was known, very famous for making these metal type of sculptures made out of steel beams. So it's a little bit of an homage to the American Industrial Revolution of the late 1800s, early 1900s. And they're all around the city. You'll see a few of them also. He was part of making the Socrates Sculpture Garden in the Story of Queens. And you'll see his work also in Storm King, which is a huge outdoor museum in upstate New York. So that's what that red sculpture is, I think. If anyone can confirm 100% that is Marc de Suervo, let us know. So let me show you more of the trees. Today I did my first walking video, says Ruben. Oh, Ruben, congratulations. I really love that sculpture, says Brendan. That red punch to it is nice. Yes, it is. I agree. Hey, Akash from India. Welcome. Hey, Elisa says, thank you for the very nice answer. 809 people are watching. Oh, cool. I'm so glad so many people are tuning in. Hey, Shields. Last Christmas shopping spree with your family. Oh, I hope you enjoyed the Christmas shopping spree. That's wonderful. Is that a parking garage? No. No, this is park. No parking garages here. Not too far from the 9/11 site. All right. A lot of people want to see the 9/11 site, so let's check it out. Do I know Tangier from Morocco? I love Moroccan food. I'm not sure if you're referring to area of Morocco or the food, but I love both. Can't wait to go. Joe says, congrats on 26K. Oh, thank you, Joe, for letting me know. I just reached 26K. Oh, this is good news. When will I reach 100K? Put in your bets right now. When will Urbanist get to 100K? What's the story of the rose? Ooh, that I don't know. If anyone can let us know. Gorgon says soon. 4K says by March 2020. 4K, March 2020 already passed. So would it be like a Tenet situation from the Christopher Nolan movie? Would I be going in reverse? July 2021, says Charlene. Seon says by April 2021. James says I'll reach 100K on the Thursday. Oh, James, bold prediction. James is going with the specific day. Will be on the Thursday. Kara says summer 2021. All right. Does Burger King serve beer? Indeed it does. Because they have a huge sign. It says now serving beer. So, there we go. Burger King. I miss Burger King. I haven't had one in a while. Alex says I'll reach 100K by Valentine's Day. Oh, interesting. Adam says maybe in 50 videos, Adam says. 50 more videos, I'll reach 100K. Ah, I like that. Very unique predictions. This pizzeria is full. Pronto Pizza. Downtown Italy. Yes, it's right over here. Dawn says you need to get drunk to digest Burger King. Indeed. Alex says Burger King serves beer now. Yep. What has the world come to? I used to go to Burger King as a little kid, and now they have beer. We also have the Westfield Mall in Paris. Oh, you do? Interesting. Sooner than you think, says Maria. I'll reach 100K. You need to show the fireman's plaque. All right, we'll do. MAR says I'll reach 100K on April Fool's Day, 2021. Oh, that might be an awkward day to reach 100K. I'll be thinking everyone is playing an April Fool's joke on me. Can you show Times Square, Khaled? When I discover the ability for teleportation, I will. But right now you have to look at the previous video from yesterday. So here is the plaque for the firemen, first responders. Dedicated to those who fell and to those who carry on. May we never forget. Yeah, there was a man making a memorial video. He seemed to have a speech memorized. He was making a video. It seems might have been sending it to a church or to. He seemed like he might have been a first responder himself, or at least involved in some type of firefighting or police work. Yeah, interesting. You might have heard it. Showed him very briefly. Do I know anyone who perished on 9/11? I don't. Adam, no, I do not. But I know a few of my viewers have. And if you want to see that video, see the video this past September 11th. I came here. Mary Jane accompanied me to find a few names for people who lost their lives. Someone talk about the cantilever display of lights. Oh, I actually don't fully know where they are, but let's see if we can find them. What ladder is this? This is the 343, is it? No, these are the 343 that lost their lives. I think. If anyone can let me know. Ruben says, thank you for your videos. It makes it easier to feel better in this hard moment. Yeah, my heart goes out to people who are in intense lockdown. Some countries decide to lock down much more intensely than others. So I hope you're finding some entertainment or some joy or some type of art that you're able to do. Here's another Christmas tree. So we have found more Christmas trees. We have found another Hanukkah. Hey, Steph, nice to see you here. Stephanie, welcome. Hey, we have the same view at the La Défense. Oh, interesting. Do let me know how to say your name. Don't know how to read Arabic. So what is the blue building behind me? This is St. Nicholas Orthodox Church. This has been here for quite a while because there has been an Orthodox presence here. This type of church, I think, was here since the early 1900s, or at least, or even before, late 1800s. It's the Greek Orthodox National Shrine. Now, before this ever was World Trade Center, this area, until modern day Tribeca, used to be Little Syria. And there was a lot of kebab shops, people smoking nargile, which is hookah or water pipe tobacco, and people maybe wearing fezzes or the modern version of the fezzes at that time, but a lot of Syrians. But then a lot more people started moving in from Turkey and also from Greece. And that's why you had a Greek Orthodox, or probably one of the reasons why there was a Greek Orthodox church over here. This is the remodeled version, which is designed by Santiago Calatrava, who's the designer of the Oculus. But unfortunately, they keep running into problems. I think monetary issues, so they haven't been able to afford the rest of the construction. The blue, I think, is, yeah, I'm not entirely sure why it's blue. I'm not entirely sure what they're fully doing with it. This is a rendering of how it's supposed to look like. It's not a tent, it's a church. Well, it's going to be a national shrine, I think, now, rather than a church. Is St. Nicholas Santa? Not quite. St. Nicholas is partly the inspiration for Santa, but not fully the inspiration for Santa. Santa is more of a creation made over here, but it is based off the Dutch Santa Claus. Or St. Nicholas, right? Hey, Brendan says, this blue, is it waterproofing material? Oh, it might be, might be. Looks like a telescope. Yeah, it does look like an observatory. Hey, Jill, the LA guy. Welcome. Nice to see you, LA guy over here. Alex, you love my channel. I'm so glad you do, Alex. Rob, did snow again? No. Just leftover snow. Some places are a little bit more cleaned up than others. The original church was beautiful. Yeah, I wish I could have seen the original church. I don't remember ever visiting it. So here we have more holiday decorations. We have America's Response Memorial right over here. And we have 2 deers. Hey, 4K Wanderer says, test the bench. I'll be a mensch and test the bench. Let's do it. Thank you so much for a $2 super chat. Oh, someone left €10. Panagiotis, thank you so much for the €10. Panagiotis says, Merry Christmas, Ariel. My best wishes to you and your family. Achieve every goal you have. Thank you again for the good company. Oh, my pleasure, Panagiotis. May you have a happy holidays as well. Do let me know, how do they celebrate Christmas in Greece? I know a lot of Greeks are Greek Orthodox, so I'm curious. How is Christmas celebrated in Greece? All right, so benches, we had to go through the other side of the sculpture. This is the sphere from, it was on Battery Park, but the sphere was originally located in the plaza of the Twin Towers, and it actually survived the Twin Towers, and that's why it's pretty beaten up. But it survived the wreckage. Let's try a bench. Happy Festivus to the rest of us, says Stephanie. Indeed, Stephanie, indeed. So here is a bench. Let's see if this memorial bench is a nice memorial bench. Memorial benches are starting to have tough competition. What is the ultras? I'd like to donate $5,000 to the channel, says Alex. Wow, Alex, that's quite a bit. That was very generous of you. You could do so in pieces on PayPal if you want to. Oh, wrong thing. Here, PayPal. All right, so let's try the bench. Oh, wow. This is a nice bench. I like how it's pretty reclined. I have a lot of space. I feel like I can also I like sitting this way sometimes. Let me know if people like sitting this style. There's a name for it. There was a name for it when I was little, but no one really uses that name anymore. So let me know if you sit cross-legged style. I like doing cross-legged style, so I have plenty of space to do cross-legged. Oh, this feels comfy. Yeah. It's cool. It's a good bench. I give this bench a nice 8.2. 8.2. Good memorial bench. No bird poo either. So bird poo free. Is it a cold bench? Surprisingly not freezing. John, we won't get into that, John. That's for a topic much different, longer conversation. Uke guessed 8.3. Oh, Uke. Don't lean your head too far back. Why is that? This is a cold marble, I think. It's marble, so it might be a little bit too cold. But yeah, the bench itself, this is wood. It's not super cold. One seat. Everyone knows the rules. Indeed, it puts Barstool Sports might be in the wrong business reviewing pizza. Their name would indicate they're more meant for benches. All right, I gotta adjust my mask. Bear with me. Mark, thank you so much for a $5 super chat. I appreciate you. W2 says, don't sit on cold benches. Mama said it'll give you hemorrhoids. W2, that's a great proverb to live by. All right, let me show you the views. There's a lot of tourists from New Jersey over here. All right. Here are the memorial fountains. Westfield Mall right over there. Walking Commuter says, I'd say don't sit too long on the toilet if you want to avoid hemorrhoids. Oh, another ancient proverb to live by. Hello, Walking Commuter. How are you doing? I'm the Anthony Bourdain of benches. Oh, that's quite a big title. Speaking of Anthony Bourdain, you guys want to check out where he used to work or nearby? Let me know if you're curious about where Anthony Bourdain used to work here in downtown Manhattan. All right, let's go to our next stop. Leal. Elizabeth says, yes, love Bourdain. Oh, cool. Janice says 87 people are tuning in on Facebook. Oh, welcome everyone on Facebook. I gotta put on my hat. Must look amazing at night. Yeah, 100% worth it at night. Hey, Gokhan. I'm doing well, Gokhan. Bourdain was great, yes. Dora says, yes, please. Bourdain, workplace. Someone else has another proverb. Never sit on a cold bench or else you'll never father children. Uh-oh. Are the malls full of people buying? Probably not Westfield Mall. I doubt there's that many people at Westfield Mall. I think the stores that are a little bit more full are the ones in Soho and the Village. So if you start going to the Strand, for example, Nasimia asked for the Strand a few times. The Strand probably is packed. I bet you it's packed. It usually is on Christmas, 23rd. Macy's would probably be packed. Of course, COVID, things are changing and they might have limits to people going into the store. But yeah, that's the case. For example, yesterday, McNally Jackson was also packed, the bookstore in Soho. It's World Trade Center in the distance. Yep, that's the Freedom Tower. One World Trade Center, aka the Freedom Tower. Ivo says, in the TV series Friends, there was a Central Perk Cafe. By any chance, is there a real cafe? That cafe was completely made up. It was not based on any type of real cafe. It was inspired by what kind of used to be the coffee shop scene in the 1990s or late 80s. Coffee shops in that era embraced a lot of like the couches and the big, huge mugs. However, there is a pop-up experience. Pop-up experience means it's temporary, of the Friends Central Park Cafe, completely recreated for your selfie-taking pleasure. And that is located right at the edge of Gramercy Park. Check it out if you're in this nearby area. What is the Freedom Tower used for? They're offices. Offices. Here's Blue Bottle, one of my coffee recommendations in this area. The Friends pop-up. Yeah, maybe I should give it a look. See if I can get in. Let me know if you guys want to see a live video of the Friends pop-up. I also sat at the original couch of the Friends set in the Warner Brothers studio when I visited Los Angeles many, many years ago. Really wonderful time. '20th Century, yeah, it's closed. Century 21. Clayson says, do you want to learn a new experience in the city of New York? I'm always open to learning about new experiences. Let me know. Randy says, liked yesterday's live. Oh, I'm glad you did, Randy. I hope you tuned in around the 56-minute mark. Things went down at that moment in the video. Luciano is choking up because it's so quiet. Yeah, very quiet. Century 21 has huge doors. Have you been to the Skyscraper Museum? No, I haven't been there yet. Brandon, great question. I heard it's tiny, so I never really tried going in. Gokhan, what's my favorite cities and states? New York. After that, London. Never noticed how inclined some parts of New York City is. Yeah, we're pretty much going on an incline right now. And then there's another decline right down there. You're right. You start noticing that in certain streets. Thing is, the water line used to be right over here. So that used to be water. I thought there would be a lot of executive guys walking around. Not because of the pandemic. A lot of people are working from home.
All over, huh? You guys all over.
All right. Here we have a little secret. Not Anthony Bourdain yet. Stay tuned for that. Right in front of this shop, on the very corner, you have to not look at this beautiful plaque, which is right over here, that shows Broadway Maiden Lane in 1880. Look at that. Not only look at the plaque, but also look down. Here we have the Barthman clock of 1884. this is a clock. We just can barely see it because it's so fogged up. But this clock's still running and has been running here, or I'm not sure if it's running at this very moment in time, but it runs from time to time and it's been here for quite a while.
I know, I was calling you.
But why did they build a clock right over here? Well, apparently it was built by William Bartham. And William Bartham was a jeweler. Right over here. He was known for being very extravagant with his campaigns of advertising. It was very sleek marketing mind. One of the more famous campaigns was that he took a lot of bottles and stuffed a little note inside them and said that if you find this bottle with a note, come back to my store and I'll give you $10. But where were these bottles? Well, he took a transatlantic ocean liner to the other side of the pond towards Europe and dropped those bottles into the sea. Apparently, one of those bottles was found by a fisherman in Devon, England. And he claimed those $10 and he said it was quite all right for a Christmas gift. That got him a lot of fame, Bartham, as a jeweler. He also had another saying. He said, I don't care whether the publicity is bad or good, as long as they spell my name correctly. Well, they spelled his name correctly. So apparently Bartham ended up building a clock right over here, at least his son, who ended up taking control of the business, building a clock over here. But there's no newspaper writings about it. So no one knows exactly for sure when the clock was built. It says 1884, but no one knows if that is the same exact date. And also, how is it wound? Well, there's one interesting quirk about New York City. The clock is on the ground, so do they open it up from ground level? No. That's why it's so fogged up. It's actually sealed from the top, but there's tiny little leaks where the humidity is going in the water. It's actually wound from the basement. So they go down under the basement, and a lot of these sidewalks all around New York City, we have a bunch of subways. But beyond the subways, the city also has basements that extend below the sidewalks. And this is the case in many parts of Manhattan. This is definitely the case over here. So there's a basement right underneath our feet right now, and there's a man, ever so often, I'm not sure when's the last time he did it, goes up and winds the clock from down below. So Barthman over here, I'm going to read what it says a little bit more. A century ago, the glittering heart of the city's diamond and jewelry and watchmaker in these stores, wrote the Daily Graphic in 1876. These are diamonds as bright as the eyes of the ancient Dutch beauties. A proud and lone survivor operates here. Alright. These guys are a bit high and they're trying to fuck around, so let's move away. But nonetheless, those are a really cool, hey, how's it going? That's a really cool secret that a lot of people don't know about it. All right, now let's go to Anthony Bourdain. Elle says, if anyone tries anything, we got your back. All right, I'm glad. That's good. I have a particular set of skills, though, so I'll be okay. All right, here we have Leal. Back in the early 1990s, a chef with a very big head of hair, was promoted to executive chef of Les Halles, which was a French-style brasserie here in New York City. This chef, many of you already know who he is Anthony Bourdain. Anthony Bourdain, a few years after that, in the late 90s, ended up writing a book that ended up changing the perception of the restaurant industry. And that book was Kitchen Confidential, based off a New Yorker article that he wrote. And he ended up becoming an overnight celebrity. This is where he used to work. Now, after he became an overnight celebrity and started writing the book, he did one series on television called The Cooks Abroad, he actually wasn't super famous yet. And that TV gig wasn't quite enough to pay all the bills. So he kept working as the executive chef. So during that time, he was still working here at Les Halles during the early years of his television career. I actually found a very old video about him. Do you guys want me to play it? Let's see if we can play it. Oh no, we can't play it. Give me a second. All right, so I can't find the video, so never mind. But here, back when he passed away, just a few years ago, I myself came here. I did a live video on Facebook, and it showed all the different letterings that were here. Actually, this was a little bit before Facebook, so I didn't do a video. But I came here and saw all the different letters in his honor. So people left letters, saying thanks to the inspiration that they gave them. I saw a few people who wrote books. They said that they wrote a novel because of him, or a nonfiction book because of him. Some people said that they become a chef because of him. I remember reading the stories, and they were so amazing to see the outpouring of love for this man who was an on-screen presence and ended up changing the world of food and our perception of the restaurant industry. But it also starts changing our perception of the world and how we can connect to people on a regular human level through the act of eating food together. Absolutely wonderful, wonderful career that he had. Here's a look inside Les Halles, and this is what it used to look like. But Les Halles, of course, closed a few years ago. Both locations. He had a few episodes on No Reservations, which was his second major show out of 3, the third one later being Parts Unknown. In those reservations, he actually lamented that he became such a famous TV star that he did not know any cooking skills. So he became a huge TV star. He didn't have any cooking skills. And he said, oh, I'm a bit rusty, so maybe I should go back to the kitchen. And there's one great episode where he goes back to the kitchen. And it's one of the best episodes I've seen. It's edited so well. It's done so well. And his friend, Lapierre, if I'm pronouncing it correct, he runs another restaurant here, still running. He ends up helping him to work at the restaurant at the late shift. So really fun episode. Highly recommended. No Reservations is season 4, I think episode 10. That's the one. Eric and Pear, yeah. Amazing guy in his own. I can't wait to try his food at some point. Hopefully I can go to his restaurant at some point. Let me know what's the name of Eric Repair's restaurant. The name is escaping me at the very moment. Le Bourdain. Thank you so much. Le Bourdain. Bernardin. Ooh, that's a bit hard to pronounce. But why in recent years, Julia Childs and the frugal gourmet were not as sexy, looked as sexy rock star celebrities? Yeah, you know what's a bit more complicated. They weren't looked as celebrities. I say like in recent years, Anthony Bourdain kind of revitalized the food celebrity because you had Julia Child, but I think for a few decades in between then, there wasn't that many big food celebrities. There was like Paula Deen, I think is her name. And in the mid-90s, like Martha Stewart started pumping up, but wasn't that big yet. Anthony Bourdain truly made it global. Like Julia Child was famous in parts of Europe and America, but I don't think Julia Child was famous worldwide on the level of Anthony Bourdain. Anthony Bourdain was ended up going to the furthest parts of Africa or India or China or etc. And he would still have fans calling out his name. He ended up becoming a global icon on the level that no other food host really did before, like Martha Stewart or Paula Deen or even Julia Child. So here's the little chapel that stood. What's your cooking specialty? My cooking specialty is avocado toast. I make a mean avocado toast and a pasta carbonara. He was so naturally cool. Indeed he was. He was naturally cool. Emeril Lagasse. Emeril Lagasse was indeed famous, but would you say that Emeril Lagasse was globally famous on the level of Anthony Bourdain? What happened to all the snow? Asked Jamie. Well, Jamie, as in with all things in life that are made out of water, it melts. There's three modes of all types of matter. Well, four, if you want to be a bit more specific. There is liquid, plasma, there is hard matter, a solid state, and steam. Four states of matter. A little bit more complicated than that, of course, but that's the gist of it. And with like all states of matter, ice turns into water. Water turns into steam. Steam continues on with the cycle of life, going up to the clouds, raining down as snow or rain, and the cycle continues over and over again. Right here, we have the little chapel that stood, St. Paul's Chapel. The oldest, along with the Maurice Jamel Mansion. This one's dating back to 1799. And it's still around to this day. Here's a look inside. Hey, Lionel. Hello, Cleason. Hello, Jando. Nice to see you here. Welcome. Check the gravesite, says Robert Rod. Okay, Robert, I'll show you the gravesites. I can't go in because as all things in New York, they're closing down graveyards. I'm not entirely sure why. I get it with churches, but I don't get it with graveyards. Why can't I go into the graveyard? Ugh. Hey, Elena says, not only are you a smart guy with vast knowledge, but you have a great memory. Daily, I'm more impressed and like you more. Oh, Elena, thank you so much for the kind words. Mucho humo, Jando. Sí, mucho humo. What is the history behind the graveyard? Well, it's the graveyard of St. Paul's. There's a few iconic figures of history buried here, though I don't know any specific names. And the bell is ringing. Irene says, maybe you could affect the dead with COVID. Maybe that's why these are closed. Super chat. COVID causes zombies, says John. John, I think that might St. Paul's graveyard might be closed. I think you're onto something, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so we've seen quite a bit. If you want me to show you one last thing, do let me know. Let me know in the comments. I want me to show you one more thing. Sally probably has issues with vandalism. I'm not entirely sure. That's a good question. What a tour, says 4K Wanderer. History behind the Woolworth. Okay, let's go to the Woolworth, shall we? It was great. Great recommendation. Eddie, yes I did. Eddie, thank you so much again for the super chat. Feliz Navidad from Norman Eddie. I always appreciate you. Thank you so much. Can I give you a crypto super chat? Or you could do it on PayPal. Yes, PayPal. I accept Bitcoin. Feel free to PayPal me Bitcoin if you want to, if you prefer that method. Here's the top view tours. I like these guys, top view. So here, we're starting to see the Woolworth building. The classic Art Deco-like skyscraper built by Cass Gilbert. Has a Gothic Revival skyscraper, if you want to get a little bit more specific. It has really, really interesting relief sculptures. And it is set back, so let's go forward. Brick, thank you so much. Merry Christmas, Germany. Merry Christmas to you too, Brick. Robert says, very informative walk. Merry Christmas. Thank you. Very ornate facade. Oh, yes. So I'll show you the front, and then I'll go towards the side because the side has a little bit more interesting perspective. Well, let me show you the front first. Kiwi says, let's go to Brooklyn Bridge. Not today, but you can watch my other videos. I appreciate it, Robert, for the super chat. So here's the front, 233, the Woolworth building. Look at this. Is it a bank? No, now it is residential. So at first it was offices. And Cass Gilbert, you know, the interesting thing about Cass Gilbert is he was a famous architect. He built a lot of these kind of Gothic revival style buildings. Here's the plaque, let me show it to you. Woolworth building. Frank Woolworth, 1852 to 1919, original president of the Woolworth Company, built this cathedral of commerce of the Gothic design in 1913. Cass Gilbert was the architect. It's 60 stories rise, 792 feet and 1 inch above the street. And until 1913, it was the highest office building in the world. 1931, so for almost 2 decades, it was the tallest building in the world at 60 stories tall. There's interesting faces all around it. But there's one interesting face. We see a Native American chieftain, which usually you don't see in Gothic architecture, but you see it representing people from all around the world. And here, well, we see someone of African descent as well. So that is fascinating, that you have more of these kind of modern flourishes. Gilbert was a very unique man because he built in this Gothic style, and this is what New York City could have looked like. Gothic revival architecture, because Cass Gilbert was very close to building the tallest building in the world that would have competed with the Empire State Building in 1929 in Madison Square Park for the life insurance building. However, this man had too many issues with the people who owned the plot of land and the offices, and he had to constantly make adjustments, and then the Great Depression hit and they couldn't finish the building. So out of the 100 stories, they only finished about 25. So Cass Gilbert was very close in inspiring a new era of Gothic revival architecture. Which leads us to one last thing. I don't talk about politics, so let's not talk about the politics of it. But there was recently a bill that has been passed that is enforcing governmental buildings to be built in the Art Deco or Romanesque or Gothic style, which is fascinating. They are saying, basically, the government is now saying no to brutalism, which took over governmental buildings the past 100 years, or past like 50, 60 years. So who knows what is going to be the future of architecture? Beyond that governmental bill, there's also incentives in New York City's part to build more Art Deco. And there's a plan for a Gothic, neo-Gothic sculpture, skyscraper to be built in Midtown Manhattan. So who knows what is going to be the future of New York? Will New York continue in glass and steel? Will it continue in more practical buildings that are more about function than form? Or will we go back to the stylized days of the Woolworth building? Well, who knows? Let me know what you think. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in, for all the lovely super chats. Definitely going to enjoy a good coffee with those super chats, so I appreciate you. Jack was brutalism, raw concrete. Basically, that's the gist of brutalism. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you every Wednesday and Saturday at 1 p.m. I do videos, and I do videos at other random times, including a special philosophical chat next Friday. Have a great day, everyone. Keep being awesome, and always keep on exploring. Bye-bye.